Hey, everybody. Hi. This is your girl, Lynette Jackson, and this is the podcast, Speak Out Loud, the story behind the brand. And I'm so excited to be back live with you guys. And so I want to start off first and foremost saying thank you to everybody who's been continuing to support me. I've been out for about a month, and I'm going to get into that a little bit and share that a little bit about what's going on with me and what has happened, what I've been going through. But I haven't been live, but I've had, that's why you got to have good guests. We have good guests, you have good content, and I was able to rerun some shows. But I'm just so thankful that you guys continue to support me and continue to hang in there with me. I've been through a few little things, but you know what? Today, my guests and I are going to talk about some of those things and then why it's important to make sure that you live a good and healthy life and that you have a great mind and a great mindset. And so I'm excited again to be back with you, but let's get started. If you guys are ready, it's time to speak out loud.
You're watching Speak Out Loud, the story behind the brand.
About that. See how modest she is, y'all? But let's go. So roasted crickets, I'm like, not eating that.
Yeah.
Consistency.
Every day showing up, even when you don't feel like it.
And now your host, Lynette Jackson.
That's right. I'm your host, Lynette Jackson. And for those that don't know me, I own this really cool company called Roar Media Group. And Roar is a digital marketing company that helps its clients speak out loud in the marketplace with graphics, websites, videos, voiceovers. Yep, I do a lot of voiceovers. Some for some commercials that you may or may not have seen. We do it because there was a need to provide quality graphics, videos at affordable prices. And we do it for small businesses, churches, ministries, and nonprofits. And we would love to do it for you. And if you are interested in having us help you speak out loud in the marketplace, log on to our website, roarmediagroup.com. That sounds like one of my voiceovers. roarmediagroup.com and schedule your free consultation. And so I just want to say that we have another awesome sponsor. God is good. Yeah, God is good. We have another awesome sponsor. I actually had the opportunity to do the voiceover for this commercial, but we've got to pay a few bills. So before we get started, let's go.
Are you ready to cover the earth with His glory? Do you want to feed the hungry? Well, with our shirts, you can. Welcome to Word Wise Up, apparel that speaks. Our shirts are amazing, and not only will you look stylish and cool, but you'll also be doing some good in the world. For every shirt purchased, donations will be given to the End Time Harvest Christian Center Boys Orphanage in Kenya. These shirts feed. They feed spiritually, physically, and financially. So buy one of our shirts today and feed a child tomorrow. Check out our website at wordwiseup.com so that you can share the knowledge of God's glory.
All right, so I want to give a big shout out to Word Wise Up. It's an awesome company that has very positive t-shirts, apparel that speaks. And I really am excited about my client and my partner who's been working on this project because she's retired and she's decided to start this all over again. And this was a desire and a vision that she felt God gave her to start this company, and she came to us and she asked us to go to her website. So go out there and check it out. You can purchase one of her awesome shirts. She can also do some custom stuff for you. But it's called Word Wise Up. So visit it, wordwiseup.com. All right, let's get into my show. Okay, so I was here with my guest today. I was like, girl, I've been getting dressed with you since 2016. And she was like, well, I started in 2016. Well, I must have started in the very beginning with you because I've learned a lot of tricks from her. She is a beautiful person on the inside and on the outside. And I am so honored. Like literally, I told her I was fangirling because I am so honored to have my very special, beautiful guest with us, Miss Britt Knight. She has a beauty company called Britt K Beauty. Britt, let's go. How you doing?
Hey, how are you? How are
I
you?
am wonderful.
On.
I am so wonderful. I am so, like I said, I'm fangirling, and I am so excited that you're on here because, I started getting dressed. And I know that sounds weird, but I started dressing with Britt since 2016 in the morning. I was on my way to work. Britt and I get dressed together
Oh,
every single morning. Now, why would I say that, right? Because she's a beautiful makeup artist and she's been teaching tutorials on makeup. So what I like to do always to my guests, I ask them the 4 clarity questions. Who are you? What do you do? Why do you do it? And Britt, who do you have the pleasure of doing it for? Go ahead.
well, hello everyone. Thank you again, Lynette. My name is Britt. As you said, a lot of people know me as Britt K Beauty. I am I say I'm an influencer here on YouTube, sometimes on Instagram, and like she said, I'm known in the makeup community for first you previously going live at ridiculously early times in the morning. Um, 5 days it was crazy, but what I would do, it was almost kind of like just to get ready with me, and I would do tutorials. Like it was very fundamental, like foundational, very foundational based, like very beginner, because honestly when I was getting started, when I was started doing my lives, I was at the beginner level as well, so I was just showing you guys what I knew. And so I was just showing you guys what I knew, and it really just developed and grew into a family. So that is what I do. I do it really for just the community sense of it. And I love teaching anyway. I found over the years that I really have a passion for teaching. So it's able to let me do all these different things together. And as you said as well, I find that I bring a lot of people into the community that are women that are just beginning in makeup. They've been curious about it. They've been afraid of it. Sometimes, especially in the beginning, like about 6 years ago, there wasn't a lot of representation in the makeup community. So I would hear a lot of times like, it's so nice to be able to follow someone that looks like me. So so that's me. That's the who, where, when, whys, and hows.
Yes. So, I that's something I didn't know you were just starting out, where you were just very foundational because you
Very.
were very knowledgeable. Okay. So I do something. I'm going to pull my glasses off just so you can see my little eyeshadow here today. Okay. I hope I passed the test. Okay. But I learned something from you, and I was like, well, that's how it's done. You would put contour on you would contour your eyes, right? With a little contour to
Mhm.
make your shadow pop.
Yes.
Girl, can I just tell you, I still do that.
Yep. Yeah. That's definitely one thing. I don't do it as much anymore, but I do remember. I remember doing that. Like you start from here, and then you go up to here, and you let it blend. Yep.
Oh,
I remember.
girl. Oh my God. And I'm like, I'll have people say, I had a photographer say to me, uh, who does your makeup? I work at this church on Sundays, and he's a photographer there. And remember, who does your makeup? I said, I do. He was like, well, you need to teach some of these people that I shoot
Mhm.
on how to take their, because he said they'll just go out and just do all kinds of stuff. And he says it's always natural. And to me, that's really what I wanted. I really wanted the natural look. And then you would teach us how to glam ourselves up, and you give us the Friday look, the dress down look, and but you did, and then you would do head wraps, and girl, I'm fangirling because I'm like, I'm really literally talking to Britt
Oh.
K Beauty, And one of the things that I really loved about getting dressed with you every morning and learning, I'd be like, well, what is Britt? What's she putting on today? How's she doing her eyes today? What I loved about it is you were not that person that would ignore the comments or whatever. I mean, you'd be, hi, Miss Mary. Hi, Miss Jessica. How you doing today? Oh, yeah. And then your daughter would be waking up and your daughter. So you are a mom, you're a wife, and you were just, and I didn't know that you were just getting dressed and deciding. So what gave you the idea to say, I'm going to go live? Or were you in your bathroom every morning doing this?
We're fortunate enough where we have a spare room. So,
Okay.
So I kind of claimed it when we bought the house. I was like, I'm going to use this. This is going to be my makeup room. So that's kind of that's how I have the room. That's where I would do the lives, and that's where actually I still do them now. But I think honestly, what it was is I actually had not had really a desire to do the lives. I was doing Instagram, and I was taking pictures. I was taking them daily because again, I was at the beginning stages. So I would take pictures, I would post them, then I would just look at them to see what I liked, what I didn't like, how I was going to improve on it. I had been doing that for a while, and I saw that the YouTuber Jackie Aina she had done a collaboration with Elf, and it was the very first time that they were hosting this contest that would allow 50 people to go to their company, and like we would just be treated like celebs and just get like just this all-star treatment while we were there. I was one of the people that they picked. So while we were, I know. And so while we were there, I met Jackie. She's a sweetheart. And I met another person that was there, and she was doing really well in the community, and she was getting PR, and she was working with all these brands. And so we're all just kind of like, how do you do that? So I reached out to her personally, and I asked her, and she was asking me different things like, well, have you tried doing this to reach out to them? Do you do this? Do this? And everything was no. And then she said, well, do you do lives? Because that was something that she did. And I was like, well, no. I was like, but I had seen a few people doing it because lives were pretty new as well. So I was like, well, I'll try to do that. And then I just turned on the camera one day, and I sent a little message to the group of girls I was talking to that were on that trip. I was like, I did my first live. And
wow.
And that's how I did it. And then I've just been doing it ever since.
And 75,000 people in the Britt K community later.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just, and it speaks volumes to purpose and vision, because I feel like, hey, listening to your story, which is the story behind the brand, it's like, this was something that I loved doing. This was a passion that I had. I was learning more, and I turned that passion into helping other women. So you don't know the number of women that got dressed with you in the morning, because this will make me cry. I'm really tender these days. But the number of women that got dressed with you in the mornings, and then the number of women that you probably made them feel beautiful about themselves, Britt. So there, when you get to heaven, there are going to be people that say, that's Britt. Britt, hey, I learned how to contour because of you. I learned how to do this. And thank you, because you've made me feel so good about myself. And it really lets me know that sometimes our visions and our passions can actually be turned into what we don't know that we've been called to do. And I feel like this is a calling on your life to not only, help people feel beautiful, but also help them feel beautiful from the inside out. And so this show is called It's Beauty Skin Deep. And so we want to talk a little bit about that. And, because I was the type of person, this is full disclosure, I was the type of person that would never leave the house without a full beat. Mm-hmm. Like, I ain't going nowhere without a full beat. And watching you, I learned how to put lashes on.
It took me a while too.
Because I'm that girl that I was stuck. And then here's the funny thing: it's like I would put my eye makeup on, and then I would try to put the lashes on, and then I would just mess up the eye makeup, just mess it all up. And then you just put that on there, you blow it, it's got to get sticky and tacky, and then you can look. And I'm like, meanwhile, I'm washing my face again because I've just glued my eyes shut. But it does take practice. And I think for me, I had to learn to say, don't try to put on lashes when you have a special event. Because I felt like lashes are for a special event. So when you want to look super, super cute, you really super beat your face and then you put on lashes, right? Mm-hmm. And I would do that at the wrong time. So I had to learn, you know what, just when you want to do a little light something, just practice those lashes. And so I've gotten that. So talk a little bit about what you've seen on the journey of, you've been doing this, you started these lives 6 years ago.
6 years ago. Mm-hmm.
What you've got some stories, I know, that you can share with us about how women in makeup has transformed, and share some of those.
It's definitely transformed from the time I did it. Because again, when I started, I can name probably 4 people that were doing it. There's Ella Ty, Chloe Dosh, Nay the MUA. Actually, those were the 3. Oh, and Jessica Lynn. Those were the 4.
Don't know any of those people, but I do know.
It's like they were the OGs, but they were the ones doing it. And it would be like lives would go about 3 to 4 hours at a time.
Oh, wow.
And there would be, like hundreds of people that were watching just because it was so new. So when I jumped in, I think that it was just a really good time because it was just this brand new thing. And you didn't have to watch the YouTube videos. They were like 15 or 20 minutes, then they cut off. You could actually sit and enjoy the experience. And, and you had essentially a teacher there live to help you with it. So, for me, I found like that was really the excitement about it at the time, because like you just had this access that you didn't have before. And also just in that time, also because when I started doing it, we did get, there was more people that were starting to emerge. But because again, it was still so new, we just formed like this almost kind of community with each other. And it was like, everybody knew who everybody was.
Yes.
It was almost, and it's not like kind of like how it is today, where there's so many that are happening, but it was so small and so tight knit. Like we knew like, okay, well, she's going live today at this time. So I know I'm not going to do that because I'm not going to take away from her. Right. And, so there was a lot of that. That was happening in our time, and that we did it. And I think another thing that just made it so special, because it was so new, and I think that also is something that helped us to develop at the rates that some of us did, was, as you said, like just the women, like in the stories that we were hearing of people that were being affected. Like there was, I remember towards the beginning of it, when I was just starting to take off a little bit, I had a woman message me, and she was saying that I work at a hospital, and I work with women that are going through chemotherapy, and I play you in the morning, so that they can learn things to, just kind of make them feel better as they're going through this process. Like beauty schools, I've heard like teachers were playing these in their beauty schools. So it was just like as you said, not even realizing what we were doing at that time and who we were reaching. It's amazing.
Just simple faith, right?
Yeah, right. And for me, it really was. I was getting up in the morning, and I chose 6 o'clock ish. I chose that time to come down here because that's when my house was quiet. Like my husband was probably sleeping because he had maybe just gotten home from working at the hospital. The girls were sleeping because they were going to be going to school they were going to get up and go to school pretty soon. So that was my time to just sit and just kind of just be and just have my moment to just being calm and relaxed and just be around, being able to talk with this community of women. So yeah, it's been amazing. Yeah.
So you built a community before building a community was even popular. You hear that wasn't even a buzzword then, but it is a buzzword now, where folks are like, oh, we got this community and we got this. You built this community just by sharing your love and your passion with women. And then you did it so well, and you did it so effortlessly. And it was just like, really, literally, I felt like I was in a class. I would put Girl, let me tell you, trying to get them eyebrows together.
Yeah. I look at some of my old pictures of my eyebrows and I'm like, ooh. Yeah.
Yeah. So do
Yeah.
you ever say 6 years, Britt, like, oh my God, the 6 year, oh my God, why did I do that? Well, what was I thinking about putting on my eyes this way or whatever? Do you ever look back and say, I could have improved on
Well, I mean, I absolutely do. I always every look I do, I always even now I'm like, okay, what I always see things that I could have improved on, the things I could have done better. Like I try to also make a habit to put in there what I did well.
that?
But yeah, I definitely do that. But when I look at the looks, funny enough, from a long time ago, actually a lot of them, I'm like, that was a really good look. Like I'm sure you know, like Akeisha,
Mhm.
she's like one of my best, like she's probably my best friend now. Don't tell her I said that though. But I messaged her I think about like a month ago, because something like one of the anniversary videos and pics popped up, and I said that was a really good look, and there was simplicity to it, like it wasn't something that I would do now, but I was
Mhm.
like I really did enjoy that, and so like actually when I look back at some of my older ones, I really appreciate them, and it almost kind of inspires me to go back to like some of the simpler ways that I was doing it, because I really like the way they turned out.
So what was your inspiration behind a look? So um, sometimes you'd be like, you know what? I think I'm going to do this. So what was your inspiration about behind saying I'm going to choose this? For me, when I put on shadow, and this could be all wrong. Okay, so I'm still in school, right? I will say, like, I have on this shirt, and I'll be like, okay, whatever top I have on, or I try to pick a color that's in. If I have a a dress that has a certain color, and I'll try to match my shadow. Is there a rule for that in the makeup world to do that? I mean, I just say like I got on a little bit of a turquoise shadow today because I have on a turquoise blouse, and so what's the rule behind there, or if there is there really a rule?
I don't think there really, honestly, I don't think there really is a rule. I think it's kind of like, well, what am I in the mood for today? Because a lot of times, because really, if you remember, like when I first started my life, I did it in pajamas and a bonnet, so I didn't
Yeah.
even know. With Judge Alex playing in the background, I didn't
That's
even know.
that's the authenticity of the whole
Yeah,
process. That's the part I love. The girl be just like in her
yeah.
pajamas. Her daughter would be in the back, like you. That was the real part.
Exactly. Yeah. But so like I didn't have a lot of times I didn't know what I was gonna do. I was like, let's just do this. Let's see, let's put these colors together and see how they work. And eventually I started to learn like, the combinations that I liked, and
Mhm.
when I would form looks that way. If in on days where I knew that I just wanted to really play with colors, those are days I would wear black or I would wear white,
Okay.
because so that would allow me to have more freedom in what I did with the eyes. Like so for today, I knew that I wanted to be nice on camera, but I didn't want to do anything like too extra. So I just put like a nice neutral, and this nice little warm color on the eye, and then I just kind of looked around to see, okay, what would complement this color that I have on right now.
Okay.
So I just put this shirt on. But there's really no like hard fast rule about it.
No hard fast rule about it. Just do it. Just do
Just
it.
really just do it. And then, like after you do it, like I said, if you don't like the way that it matches together, then you just kind of look around and just find a way to make it work. Yeah.
Yeah, because I've picked up palettes and I'm like, okay, I like this palette, but then I'm afraid to use like I have this beautiful palette by Juvia's Place,
Mhm.
and it's royal blue, it's navy blue, it's silver, and I'm scared of it. I love it. I love this palette, but I'm like every time I go, I'm like, yeah, no. I
Yeah.
just, I don't have the courage to just go that wild because I am pretty like a neutral, very warm neutral person. Because I'm just kind of like I was wearing makeup every day because I was on my way to work. So, and I was a senior executive assistant, so I wasn't like super made up. I just wanted to just have a little bit of something to just kind of accent my. And I didn't really have a whole bunch of time because I was getting up in the morning. Oh my God, Britt's on. Let me get ready. We're trying to pull it together. The chaotic morning where it's like, well, what am I going to wear to work today? When
Mhm.
you stand in the closet for about 15 minutes trying to figure out what you're going to wear. So I was like that in the morning, but yeah, it was just so easy to just follow you. And you do have a beautiful teaching spirit. You are very patient, and so that made it very, very easy. And if you used a brush and you would say, and someone would say, well, what brush was that? Because I was in your comments. Well, what brush did you use? Because I do believe that applying makeup, you have to have the tools. And I look at it as, your face is a canvas. And if you were about to paint a beautiful picture, like the picture that you have in the background, if you're about to paint that picture, well, you wouldn't just do it with a bunch of fingers. And so, I mean, you need to have certain brush strokes to do certain things. And when I learned that, I was good. And I'll ask you this, who are some of your favorite makeup artists that you really kind of aspired, or who taught you, or you learned? And I'll share mine with you.
Gotcha. We actually started about the same time, but her talent is just so crazy. Like the skill, the recognition that she got is so well. Is TaylorMade
Okay.
Jane. Yeah. I aspire to the talent that she has. Creativity. I love her. She doesn't do makeup anymore, but when she did, I loved Seti Slays. She may come back. But I really love Seti.
Seti, you hear that? You had to come back.
Yeah. She'll be in my inbox after we're done. She'll be in my inbox. And I would say on YouTube, I really she's another one that doesn't do tutorials anymore, but she did them for years. It's actually Jaclyn Hill.
Okay.
She especially for people that like just neutral earthy looks. She knew how to give you the natural look, but there was always glam in it.
Okay.
And I really, really appreciated that about her style. Like, so her old tutorials when she was teaching, they're like, she was actually a great teacher.
Okay. So I've been, well, look, so I'm gonna be 61 in August. As soon as my mom allowed me to wear makeup, and I've had some really nightmares, but I looked at some pictures of myself, like, back in the day when they were wearing the black liner. Have you ever seen pictures where women were wearing the black eyeliner around their lips?
Yep. I think I did it too.
I was in that number where I was I traced my lips hard, and hard eyebrows and things like that. But then I really started to learn from the great Sam Fine. And I just invested in one of his books one day. And I learned to do a smoky eye. And when I learned that smoky eye, I was smoked all the time. It's like, girl, can you leave a smoky eye alone? And it's like, it has its place. But I was like smoking my eyes all the time. And then, of course, I love your style. And then recently I sat for this gentleman. I love him. He just went home to be with the Lord. He just passed away this year at the age of 37, AJ Crimson. Wow. That dude right there, I was obsessed with him. I had the great honor of having to sit for him for his 12 Days of Crimson campaign.
Nice.
And he, in his apartment in Midtown, and we just had the greatest day. And he was like, so where are you going to go? I said, to Kroger. I'm just going to Kroger after you finish all this makeup on me. But he did a live tutorial. It's out on my YouTube, on my Instagram page. But when I found out that he passed away this year, I was sick, because I had just inboxed him because his new brushes had come out, and he uses his 4-brush technique. That's just killer. And so he was using his new vegan brushes on me. He was like, Mama, these is coming out real soon. They coming out real soon. And when that brush box kit came out, I just want to tell you that I was like they sexy. Like I just, if you could put sexy next to some brushes, and there was this picture of him with this box, and it was gorgeous, and it was crimson, and it just was, and I was like, these are sexy, right? These brushes are sexy. And he was like, aren't they? Aren't they? And my son did all of the marketing for him. And so did a lot of social media stuff for him. And they were very, very close. And so I kept trying to say to my son, listen, I'm trying to get these doggone brushes. And I just keep, he said, Mom, they keep selling out. They just keep selling out. I mean, when those were, he just came out with something called blurfection, where you could just put this little cream that he had developed on like your shiny nose or whatever, and it would just like blotch you down oh my God, that thing was sexy. And it came, all of his packaging was really great. So I loved him. And so it was really, really sad to hear that he passed away this year. He was just getting started in his career of making people feel good. He made me feel that day like I could fly, like I could do anything in the world. And he was just like, well, I think there was like 17,000 people watched that live. And so he said, well, where are you going? I said, the Kroger. I mean, I got nowhere else to go. I mean, I was on my way to Kroger after this. And he was like, well, let me tell you something. You're going to look real good when you go to Kroger.
Nice.
And so he really, really had this knack of being able to help people feel good from the inside out. And that's something that I want to talk to you about because society and social media has just put so much emphasis on our appearance. And we can fall victim to that. I did too. Like I said, I wouldn't go nowhere without having a full face beat on. And the pandemic told me, girl, you don't have time to do all that stuff. I would never come on live without full makeup on. I would never take a picture. I would never let you photograph me without makeup on. And I would just say that I was a slave to the product. I was a slave to the makeup. And I felt at one point that I was at my most beautiful when I'm all beat to the nines. I still don't fly without makeup. I will not get on an airplane with a plain face. I just certain things I still just won't do. But I think it was something that I had to work on the inside. Now, back in 2011, I wrote a book called Hollow, When Everything That Means Anything Is Taken Away. And I actually have a copy of it. And I just wanted to show you, I beat my own face. I beat my own face for this. And I wanted to go natural. But here's the interesting thing about the cover of this book. Boy, that was in 2011. Ooh, Jesus. I hope I still look like that. But here's the interesting about the cover of that book. Shout out to Sean Brooks, who shot the cover, guy here in Atlanta. He lives now in Miami. We shot probably 300 frames. And this cover, he was just adjusting the lighting. And he said, just look in the lights. I'm just trying to get the lighting right. And so I did. And he said, what are you thinking about? I said, well, I'm just thinking about the fact that I'm going to publish. This book is published. It's coming out. And then I'm really shooting, like I was pinching myself, like, wow, I'm really shooting the cover of something to tell my story of some tragedy. And I just kind of went there. I went in the book and I went to that place, which got us this shot. And I really wanted to put this on the cover of the book because all of this beauty on the outside, and I'm not calling myself beautiful, but all of this makeup and the lashes and the contour, all of this was on the face of a very broken, a very shattered, a very hurting individual. And I talk about the fact that I was made up on the outside, but very empty on the inside. And so we have a tendency to hide behind this mask, and so you're in the beauty industry. Share what you've had to experience with maybe even helping people to know that this is not the beauty, but the beauty is from on the inside?
I think one of the I'm trying to think of the best way to do it because I really love that question. And I really also I really appreciate how you use the word mask. And I think when you were explaining the situation and what happened, I was like, it was like a mask. It was armor. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I think sometimes that is how we feel like we have to go through life, whether it's makeup or whatever, like whatever form it takes. um when I've been in the community, one thing that I've noticed is that there's sometimes where people will come on, and they may do the it'll come back on just a moment, my apologies.
Okay.
They're going to give the comments of like, you don't need all that, like you don't need, and I think a lot of times it's kind of looked at as when we're doing like what I do, like when I'm sitting there and I'm putting my face on, it is because I'm choosing to put a mask on for the world, and I'm
Yeah.
choosing to hide who I am. But I think one of the reasons why like our community kind of grew the way it was and why people can relate is because underneath that there was still like authenticity behind it.
Yes.
And I think that's the thing that we have to search for first. Like we have to be comfortable with who we are,
Mm-hmm.
and like and the way that we go through our days just being us. And then for me, this is not a mask. This is, honestly, this was therapy for me.
I could see that.
Yeah,
I
it
could
was
see
it
that.
it was therapy for me, but I can have those moments where I know that I can take all this off and
Mm-hmm.
go, about my day without it and still feel beautiful and still have my
Mm-hmm.
husband tell me like, "Oh, you look pretty." And I'm like, "What are you talking about?"
Girl,
You know,
like
like
what?
I'm in like my grandma pajamas like right now, like with nothing on. But but I think it's a confidence, and I think sometimes in the beauty community there is this, either there is the mask that we wear, or I'm trying to think of the most polite way to say this. I think it's the mask that we wear sometimes, and also I think the makeup is almost done as a form of, I don't want to say competition, but I don't know if that's the correct word. Like
Okay.
like
Okay.
almost as if this is my style, and if it's not up to this particular standard, then
Oh, you get ready to hit a nerve right there.
it's
That's
not
good.
it's not necessarily good enough. Or
Mm-hmm.
like someone that may be, just kind of stepping into it. Yeah, like there's just like there can be like judgment behind it. Like and again, it's
Yes.
not necessarily like a judgment because like she's trying to be something that she's not, but a
Mhm.
judgment that she's not good enough at what she's trying to do. If that makes
Yes.
so
That makes a lot of sense.
those are kind of the ways that I see like makeup looked at, just in the community right now. Yeah.
Yeah. I know of a family member who I think wears too much. And I think it is because they're dealing with some inner things that they need to process. And so they never felt like they were beautiful. So they put so much makeup on because they would get attention from people who would say, wow, and they were good at it. But I think that it's like, you know, you're wearing like me when I wanted to wear the smoky eye all the time. It's like, girl, you can't wear the smoky eye all the time. You just can't, you just smoky eye ain't for the day, smoky ain't for the grocery store. That's just smoky eye is for a time. But they would like they can't go to the pool. They can't go to the store without just this full layer. And I get it. I get it because that was me. Like I wouldn't leave without and definitely I would say, oh, I can't get on the interstate without like I could get pulled over. Like I could, and I mean, that's I could be pulled over. I could, and then I gotta go to the police officer, be like, oh my God, like girl, you couldn't put no makeup on. It's like if you're gonna get on the interstate, you gotta have some, you know, You gotta have that. But for me, writing this book helped me to free myself from that,
Mhm.
and just really helped me to know that beauty is from the inside out. So when I don't, and there's times, listen, like I said, the pandemic set me free because I was on Zoom calls and I used to be, oh, I got to do this, I got to do this. And then it just got to the point where it was like, I got my baseball cap over here. I got a lip dew here just to keep my lips moist. I have two look, some Blistecks, and I'm kind of
Nice.
obsessed with this coconut from Ulta.
I
This
was curious what that was. Okay.
yeah, this is a little lip balm, and I just keep that near me. And let me just tell you something. You could see me like this, and honey, it'd be okay. And I would never let anybody see me unmade up.
Mhm.
And I was hiding. I was really hiding behind that. Like you said, it was this mask that I had to put on because I felt that this made me beautiful. I
Right.
felt like this validated me and told me that I was okay. I felt like the makeup made me feel like I was acceptable and that people would like me. And
Mm.
then there's the other thing that we have to talk about is social media and how social media really plays this role in our psyche and in our mind that tells us that we're not, we don't get that many likes. Or you post a picture and then I didn't get that many likes from the picture. Maybe my makeup wasn't right, or I gotta have it just perfect. And so, you know, how do we change the image of our beautiful women, period, but definitely our beautiful Black women who are suffering from low self-esteem and who are just overdoing it? Like I have this family member, like literally, like I'm waiting. Like, can we just go to the pool? Can we just go to the beach without the full Monty of makeup on? And it's like, you are so beautiful. You don't need it all. Like, if we're going to the beach, girl, we're going to get in the pool. But I got to take my pictures and I got to make sure it's good and I got to post. And I'd gone on vacation with this individual that I love her to life. And I was like, laying out by the pool and I was trying to like have one of my little lovely pool naps. And she was on her phone just going, going, going. And I said, what are you doing? She said, I'm at work. I'm in the lab. And I'm like, well, what are you doing? She was like, I'm putting my filters on. And so then we adorn ourselves and then we put these filters on to say to just make sure that there's no blemishes and that there's no. I mean, how do we fix that, Britt? You're in the industry.
Ooh,
Encourage us today, love.
that's that's a heavy ticket. Okay. I mean, for me, I found like you said, one definitely the pandemic I think put a lot of that into perspective. Just like I don't have time to
You
be
didn't have the energy.
doing, yeah, energy. I don't have the time to do all that. And I think honestly, just the freedom to be able to get out kind of was one thing to, it's a tough question. It's something that I've actually kind of thought about myself. And it's something I think as I've gotten older as well, when I look at social media now, like particularly like Instagram and just the YouTubers and like the TikTokers that are up and
Mhm,
when I look at it, what I see is I see youth. And I
mhm.
think when it comes to it's like to marketing and the way people brand nowadays, it's always like young and beautiful, like and there's
Yes.
perfection that goes along with it. And even like where brands are starting to go like more natural now and they're doing like
Mhm.
clean looks, there it's still like just this air of just perfection and beauty and carefreeness that's all around. And I think for me, listen, I wish I had the perfect answer for this. I think I just can say from like where I've kind of come to terms with it is that they have the youth and they have the beauty, but I have age and I have life.
I have wisdom.
Yeah, and age, I have life, I have wisdom. And yes, I can see like the beauty that they have and I can appreciate that. But
Mhm.
I know that like these lines that I have now, I've earned them, and I should
Mhm.
not be ashamed to, if I want to
Yes.
go out, if I should not be ashamed to go out and show them,
Yes.
I should love them, in my like my little smile lines, and and I'm noticing even more over like this last year. It's like, my skin does not have the same kind of texture it had 5, 6 years
It
ago.
ain't bouncing back like it used
But it's
to.
okay because it really just in that, like, it's helping me to just appreciate, just appreciate life, and just the
Mhm.
circumstances that I'm in now. And I don't do what I really trade all that just to have the beauty and perfection that social media says that I should have.
Yes.
So
Yes.
for me,
Yes.
that's kind of how I've looked at it recently, and kind of how I've come. So I was I know I don't. I'm sorry, ladies. I don't have like the perfect answer like of how to fix it. I just it's truly just growing an appreciation for who you are, just
Yeah.
an appreciation for the beauty, and for what you bring out, and once
Yeah.
you that it pulls the inner beauty that you speak about, it
Yeah.
that inner beauty out, and
Yeah.
then like, that's yeah, and for me that's
Yeah. I think also too, Britt, it is good to just know that you can. I mean, come on. I like a good, I like some her, and we like our her, and we like a good piece of hair, and good makeup and things like that. But I'm learning as I turn 61 in next month. Ooh, wow. As I turn 61 next month, that I'm loving the skin that I'm in. And
yeah.
like you said, loving the smile lines, and loving the wrinkles that are coming. And I mean, look, I do love a good serum too. So, you
Right,
know,
right, right,
I
I mean,
love
yeah,
a
exactly.
good moisturizer never hurts. And
Right.
so, making sure you have good skincare regimen, and that you take care of your skin, that you exfoliate, that you do all the things that you need to do. You drink water. I've never learned that I need to drink water more in my life recently. But it's just about, good living, and making sure that you can stand in the mirror. And and this is I'm going to be transparent because this is called Speak Out Loud. But when you can stand in the mirror and you are in your birthday suit, right? And you can look at everything, as they say in the DMV, everything. When you can look at everything and you still feel beautiful. When
Mm,
you can say, yeah, I got a couple here, I got a couple rolls here, I got those bat wings over here, but you still have time to do something about it.
right.
And so it is beauty is inside, and it comes through and to the outside. So I can literally look, know her, hair braided back, okay, because I love a good protective style. I keep it protected, and I love my different hairs because, like, I'm banged this week, right? I got bangs. I could be side part, I could be center part, and I love that flexibility. But I could also wake up in the morning and stand and look at myself and say, "Good morning, beautiful," and I feel good because it is about who you are. And I know that I'm beautifully and wonderfully made by God, and God didn't make any mistakes. Right? He didn't make any mistakes. So He may have made somebody a little bit more voluptuous here, or a little bit more voluptuous there, and so you may have a little bit you may have a fupa, because I have one. I just say, whoever marries me, if I get married again, they got to love me and my fupa. And I'm just being real.
And I appreciate it. Yes.
And I'm being transparent like this. And these shows are probably going to be completely on the other end of the spectrum, because I just got a health diagnosis. I took about 30 days off, and I've been diagnosed with diabetes, and both my parents died as a result of diabetes. And the first thing that happened to me was my mind went into, like, seriously fear mode of, oh my God, and I'm thinking, how did this happen? Like, how did I get it? Like, I'm the youngest of 7 children. Like, how did it happen to me? I'm active and I eat pretty well, but how did this happen? And so I had to just take a step back because the world provides so much noise. Social media, there's so much noise on social media. And so I had to kind of step back, and I'm grateful that I had great guests and I had great content. And so I had to run some reruns, but I had to step back because what's most important to me is that I had to get my health together. And I had to make sure that I'm good on the inside before I can even project anything on the outside. And I didn't have a great time with trying to deal with this diagnosis and trying to deal with that because it's a whole lifestyle change. And that means that I have to really be focused. And it's not about losing weight for a vain situation. No, it's you got to lose weight for your health. You have to do. So I'm walking 4 miles a day every single day, 7 days. I walk 2 miles on Sundays, but 5 days, 6 days a week, I'm walking 4 miles a day for my health. And so when you look at yourself and say, I'm still here, I can look in the mirror and say, with my fupa, with my braids, with no makeup, I'm so grateful to be alive. And last month I had a really bad car accident and I walked away. I didn't even know that I was hit as hard as I was hit until I saw the car, and then I almost fainted. And I'm just like, when God delivers you from these situations like that, it just changes how you deal with life. And so, I want to just encourage anybody today that if you're alive, you're doing good. Britt, we're having a great day.
Yes.
We are having a wonderful day, Britt, because we're able to speak. I'm able to walk. After my accident, I'm able to walk 4 miles a day. After this diagnosis, I'm able to walk. I'm able to talk. Yes, I have to do some things differently. And as I told my sons, I said, I'm gonna kick my A1C in the you know what. But I'm a fighter. And so when I wake up, forget the makeup, child. It is like, I got a little bit of makeup on for you, Britt, because I didn't want to be, I'm one of your students. But sweetheart, that's just not that important. And
Right.
so I want us to think about, I look at makeup as painting a house. It's painting a house. Their house has good bones, it has good structure. It's a nice house, but it would look a little better if it just maybe had a little color. And so if it was just plain wood, you'd be like, that's a nice house, but it needs a good coat of paint.
Yeah.
And so, Brett, you've been helping us. I didn't mean to go off into a little tangent, but I did share with the audience on Instagram that I was going to share a little bit about what I'm going to do. And I'm going to do a whole show on this whole walk that I'm doing and, this whole process of learning about what diabetes can do to you, for you. I didn't ever think that it would be me. I never thought it. Never, ever, ever thought it. But I'm good. I had to get healthy here. I had to make sure I'm healthy on the inside because those things will show out on the outside. And when you're not ready to put your best foot forward like that, it's best to not sit home and lick your wounds, but get yourself together so that you can be better and just know. So we have a few more minutes left, Britt, but I just enjoyed talking to you. I feel like I can just talk to you. You're a good girl. You're a good girl. You're a good girl. And your mama tell you, Britt, you're a good girl. Britt, you real folk.
I'll give you a number. You can tell her. But thank
So before we leave today, would you just, share with our audience, share with our beautiful women out there, just share something with them that would let them know that they're not alone in whatever it is that they're going through. And if you need to girl, you need to beat your face. Go ahead and beat your face. It's all good.
Seriously, I think that is one thing, especially as women, we have this tendency to think that we're alone in, in the situations that we go through in life, like that people are not going to understand. Like we have to just kind of keep quiet. We have this superwoman mentality where we just we handle it all, and we put everybody else first, and then we maybe think about ourselves later. So you're not alone in that. And I know sometimes I could put myself in this. There are times where I truly felt that I was kind of alone in it. And when I was saying earlier that makeup was my therapy, I don't necessarily look at it that way anymore. But at that time, that's what it was for me. Because again, like I was just kind of felt in the moment that I didn't really have like a lot of other outlets. So for me, being able to do that and do something that I was really enjoying, and being able to find like-minded women that shared that same kind of interest, that is what helped me. So even if it's not makeup, just think about things that you used to like love doing when you were younger, things that brought you joy, things that maybe you used to really love, and for whatever reason, like you may have sat down because of life, and for me, I would say find ways to, if you can't pick it back up, even if it's something small. Like if you I used to like to write as a kid. So every now and then, like I'll pick up my journal and I'll just spend like, like a little bit of time at the end of the night just writing again, just to have a release, to get that creativity going, just to get out what's happening throughout the day, what my thoughts were, so I'm not holding them in.
Yeah.
So for me, I would say find ways that can release, that can give you the release to what you're holding on to. And just seriously, just don't think that you're alone. That there's communities out there that are going to be able to give you what you need, whether it is from a Facebook community, from a makeup group, from a support group, from Bible study. There are so many ways that you can connect with people in ways that you may not even be thinking about right now. So that would be my suggestion. And again, just know that seriously, you're not alone in this process. Like, go to God. He will lead you. He will lead you to the people that are called to you. He will lead you to divine connections. Yeah, that's really the biggest thing. Just find what He's called you to. He will bring you who you need to move forward in that.
Yeah. I love that. I love that. And I think that this is a divine connection because totally I would have never thought that I'm interviewing you on my podcast and I got dressed with you every morning from 2016 is like, what? Like, I was just like, I just love this girl. Like, she's just got a great personality, a beautiful smile. She's just real. And I'm really talking to you. So thank you. So listen,
Thank you.
I just feel like you're my sister now. Like Sean Venable's my sister. I've got a Denise Armstrong. I've got, some great sisters. And so what I am going to be doing is a lovely, lovely sisters roundtable. And I would love for you to be a part of that. We're going to really talk about, Denise Armstrong has been in the beauty industry for years. She's done hair, she's done modeling, she's an actress now. And so we're just going to get a good group of women because I think that there's power in our numbers. And as a sisterhood, we need to lift each other up. When I was going through depression and anxiety, I had a sister that said, girlfriend of mine, she was like, did you take a shower today? Did you eat today? Not on my watch. Come on. So we have to be our sister's keeper. And so I just thank you so much for gracing our audience and talking about what you've been able to accomplish from a hobby. Just a hobby, brand deals and 75,000 people in your community. Just because you just decided I'm going to get dressed and do some makeup.
Yeah.
God is good, isn't he?
He's so good. He's so good.
Well, Britt, thank you. I know. Thank you so much for joining us, and I would love to have you come back.
I would love to be back. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you.
All right, guys, I am so excited. As you can tell, Brittany is just a beautiful, beautiful sister. So it's good to be back. It's good to be back with you guys. I love you all. I miss you. Remember, God loves you. I love you. But most importantly, learn to love yourself. Bye for now.
You've been watching Speak Out Loud, the story behind the brand with your host, Lynette Jackson. Please like, share, and subscribe to this podcast. And until next week, don't forget to use your voice to speak out loud.